Good evening everybody and welcome to the ordinary Parish Council meeting of Dunchurch Parish Council. I'm just going to read a statement out to begin with. Photographing, reporting, recording, filming or transmitting the proceedings of a meeting may occur, and therefore all persons participating in the meeting should be aware that such recording, reporting or filming may take place. Members of the public attending the meeting but are not participating in the meeting who do not wish to be filmed or photographed in the meeting must state this at the start of the meeting. If members of the public do not wish to be filmed or recorded, they must sit in a designated area away from the recording equipment. Now, there is one piece of recording equipment here. It is pointing towards the councils and not towards the members of the parish or attendees. We'll start with the public participation session. So members of the public are invited to give their views on items on this agenda, including planning applications or raise issues for consideration at the discretion of the chair. No decisions will be made in this part of the meeting. Public participation is a general form for open discussion, after which members of the public will have no further opportunity to speak unless invited to do so by the chair. This is strictly limited to 3 minutes per resident, with a total time allowed to be 15 minutes. Are there any members of the public who wish to make a statement?
I forgot to ask the clerk. The clerk normally asks if anybody watching would like a copy of the AGAR. Last year you asked.
Are you asking for a paper copy?
If you prepare one, I can collect it on Thursday from the library, pick it up here instead of wasting money on the stamp.
Okay, we'll arrange that.
Okay.
Just because for this year's, the one that's just been signed off.
The one that's just completed.
Okay. Anybody else? Okay, thank you. So moving on to the agenda. The first item is for apologies, to receive apologies and to approve reasons for absence. So we've had apologies from Councillors Tracy, Bryce, Clara Martin and John Marlow, all for various ailments, and also from Councillor Peacock, who is working away in Germany. I would propose we accept those apologies and reasons for absence. So,
Thank you.
next we move on to declarations of interest and dispensations.
Right, can I go round the table again? So I'll start from this end. So no interest.
No.
No. Just the Dunchurch Park plots.
Okay, so the planning application.
The planning application, which are really personal.
Brilliant. And
No.
from that, anything on these?
No.
Okay, brilliant. Thank you.
Okay, we move on to item number 3. I'd also like to welcome Councillors Howard Roberts and Councillor Deepa Roberts to the meeting, and any reports from Grogan Borough Councillors and Warwickshire County Councillors.
I think that, yeah.
If you'd like to say anything.
I'm sure we would. Hang on, let me just get this off. The virus is still prevalent, so we're still advised to wear them. It's great to be here tonight. You can see a lot of people that have got real faith in the community they live in. Last 2 years have been horrendous for communication due to the virus and various other problems. I hope we overcome that and we can move forward positively. I'd like to also welcome the fact that the Mayor's visited the Dunchurch, in fact every day. In fact, sometimes she stays over. I think it was a shame because of the pandemic that we couldn't utilise that office to do more, show how good Dunchurch is and the people that live here. Because we've got a lot of people with big hearts who don't get rewarded, and maybe they do periodically. We know from the conversations we have with residents at 4 o'clock in the morning, when they run out of food or fuel in their tanks, you know, heating oil, and we were able to give certain advice to them, but obviously we couldn't solve the problem overnight. I also want to recognise the new councillors. You'll have a great deal of fun, right, because there's a lot you can do. It's probably the only role where you can actually walk up to anybody in the village and ask them a question without being impolite. So when I see a nice house, I don't have to look around the back, see what the garden's like. What we're here for as your borough and county councillor is to help you in your role. Right? What you'll find is that the wheel has been invented, but we reschedule the size and shape and size of it every now and again just to confuse you. So where you will look at the situation and say, well, it's dead easy to solve that problem, it ends up costing thousands of pounds. So typically a change in speed limits, for example, is not a case of a post in the soil and a number. It involves lots of legal stuff that costs about 10 grand. Just bringing it back to sort of day-to-day things. We're trying to get a new lollipop person. They've been practicing that. So we're trying to get that off. It's got to have a survey. They couldn't do the survey because of the pandemic. The pandemic's really gone down, so we can start to deal with it. And it is really essential, but it's also essential for local people to drive at 30 or slower when you go out in your car. Because the best way of slowing the traffic down is you in your car doing the correct speed limit. And I'm afraid when you look at the number of accounts for speeding, there's often members of council or local people taking people to school. It's very rarely the stranger from outside the village. Worth bearing in mind, when you're a councillor, they'll ring you up and say, I've been driving for 50 years, never got a ticket so far, why have I got one now? And you'll say, because you were doing 35 miles an hour next to the school. Probably. Right. Over the years, we'll start to get to know each other, and we'll know what your portfolio is. Mine's health and well-being, and I hope to link that in with some of the work you do. And on that point I'm going to stop, because I can go on all night, as Deepa knows, and ask Deepa to say a few words.
Hi, it's nice to be back and trying to get to normality again. It's been very hard for the past, I would say, almost 3 years now. I should have been mayor 2021, but because of pandemic we couldn't. So 2021 to 2022, now it's next week that I'm putting an end to this. I must say I'm looking forward for it to finish, because although it's an absolutely great honour to be the mayor of Rugby, it has been very difficult, because people who know me from before, like Paul, will know I'm not somebody who can sit quietly on my hand. I am very outspoken, and being the mayor, I had the democratic services on my back all the time. I had to be neutral. I couldn't say anything. I couldn't raise my voice against practically anything. So there's a lot of things that I would have liked to say, but I couldn't at that time. So I am really looking forward for as of next week to be back to what I like doing, supporting my villagers, Dunchurch. I'm very biased about Dunchurch because I live here, but also all the other villages that we represent. So,
Couldn't make up
yeah, that make up Dunstmore. And also to come back to Parish Council, because I enjoy Parish Council. I was Parish Council, and good luck with your Vice Chair. I was that for quite a while. So yes, and getting to know the people, because this is where we get to know people and be more, become productive and help each other. Because I had to split my time between my NHS work and being a counsellor. But again, I used to know people who come and talk, but during the pandemic, we've had quite a lot of cases that we've had to work with, where people didn't have anyone to turn to, or they had children who were abroad and couldn't get back to their parents and had to support them because like one person I can remember was not getting any food. She's housebound, and Sainsbury's says that they've got their quota of how many home delivery they could do. So trying to find out how to help these people. So it has been difficult, but we've gone through it now, and looking forward for the normal work that we used to do. As Howard has said, he's a portfolio holder for health and well-being. I've spoken to the leader of the council, and I hope to champion health for the Borough Council, because that's what I'm expert in. So I hope to represent the council on health. And also my passion is
Sorry.
it's environment. And what I can see, our village is very nice to live in. There's a lot of hard work, but we need to also start educating people. And this is something I wanted to do during my mayor role, but I was told, no, Madam Mayor, you can't do that. And it's more, especially I've met quite a lot of young people in the village who are very concerned about what we call the other residents of the area, which are the bees, the bugs, and the fauna and the flora. So I'm hoping to work with the department in the council that look after that, and then we can transfer it here. And we've already got a great group here who are very passionate about the village, Friends of Dunchurch. So we can link with them and bring forward, the sort of plants with like the indigenous species of flora that will help our own bees and bugs and other residents, as I call them. So that's where we are. Also, I don't know if you noticed, there was a big silence from Howard and myself, and we were enjoying it, thinking everything was so right. We didn't have any complaint. We were not getting anybody coming up to us for any work. But for a good, I would say about 9 weeks or more, our equipment has not worked. None of our IT equipment has worked. So on tomorrow, we take it back, and they've tried remotely to repair our system. So no emails, nothing. And in fact, people who know us would have seen that how late my leaflet went for the election. It's because, the head office was calling me about it, and I've never got anything, so I'm just sitting happy that there's no work to be done. But hopefully by tomorrow afternoon it will all be solved, and we'll be back online.
Bags under our eyes.
Yeah.
Going grey by the minute. We'll enjoy it.
Yeah, so please, if there's anything you want to push through to our way, please do so.
Thank you both.
Could I just ask, may I have a word with you after the meeting?
Yes, certainly.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on to item number 4. This is the minutes to approve the minutes of the Parish Council meeting which took place on the 11th of April 2022, and to note but not to approve the minutes of the annual assembly held on the 25th of April 2022.
Sorry, can I just, we will be leaving in a few minutes, so can we,
Apparently we've got a manual thing to do.
yeah,
Can I just, 2 seconds.
Oh yes. Yes. I mean, you go teacher, encouragement first, and then you can word it so it gets through. Because it's a source of funds which is quite rare. And the key thing we'll be looking at is whether it involves, how many people does it involve in the constituency.
Well, I didn't do it.
Yeah, I'm sure we can paint it up. Yeah.
Okay. So do you want me to give you a ring?
Well, you'll send me an email or give me a
if you send it to my, if you send a copy to my, Poidevin Council email,
Okay.
because they managed to sort that out. Getting the
Have you
copy.
been getting
No,
no.
no.
Okay.
Peter has been working on sending us all this. So if you send a copy of that application, I can forward it, I can print it out and give it to him.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
I mean, it might be worth mentioning to the councillors that we've got 3 councillors representing this ward, and we basically split up the work between us.
Yes.
So Peter got the nice easy one, which was Dunchurch, and we got the tough ones out in the sticks.
Okay.
But we're just
But
going
we're still available if you need us.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So
But send me a
just-
copy of that and then
Okay.
we can print it out.
Thank you.
Yeah, okay.
To approve the minutes of the meeting.
Yes, I will. Just trying to find, sorry.
More.
I'm so sorry, I've lost everything. Did come from Could we come back to that, do you think?
Okay, so this is the minutes of the ordinary Parish Council meeting which took place on Monday the 11th of April, which have been put online. You've all seen them.
Yeah.
Close. Up. All those I'm happy to second.
Okay, can I just write that down?
Sign the page again.
Okay.
Yeah,
Sorry.
sign the page.
Please.
Yeah, it's Paul Green, page out second.
And everybody happy with that?
Thank you. Moving on to item number 5, the Clerk's report of activities since the last Parish Council meeting, including any appropriate correspondence.
Okay, the only thing that I wanted to report on is the thatched bus shelter and where we are at the moment. Apparently the structure has been levelled up and steel shoes fitted to the bottom of each post prior to pouring new concrete foundations about last week, I think. On review, the architect Craig Beach would also advise the following. So there's no fireproof membrane to the new roof. This would cost an extra £1,000, and in his view would give limited protection, so he doesn't really think that it gives much added value, although I question that and I've got something, a further response from him. And the brass plaque is to be retained in its existing location, which is set in the public footpath fronting Coventry Road. He previously thought that it would need to be removed to construct new foundations, but this is not now the case. I circulated all this to the councillors and I had a query back asking about the fireproof membrane, and the response that I got back is that it was to be sandwiched between the timber roof structure and the new thatch. Consequently, the thatch itself would have no fire protection, and in the architect's view, the membrane would provide only minimal protection to the remaining structure. And so I think I need to go back and ask him for more detail on that, really, because I don't think he's answered the question.
Okay.
And that's it. Also, I had an email from Rugby Borough Council about a Teams meeting on Wednesday the 18th of May at 3 p.m. In connection with Dunchurch Park Hotel. So who would like to attend? Apart from four. Yeah, I've noted that. You would like? Yeah? Okay. And you said that you would if you tried. You could. How about you?
I need to check. Can I let you know tomorrow?
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's all right. I don't. It's a Teams meeting, so it's via the computer.
Oh, I see.
I can Ian? No. Okay, brilliant. Thank you.
Okay.
That was it.
Okay, moving on to item number 6, which is the Dunchurch NDP update from Paul.
Yeah, so there's no further update from the report I gave at the last meeting.
Okay. Moving on to item number 7, planning. Again, all applications received since the last DPC meeting.
Okay, so we haven't had any new ones, apart from we are working on the response to R320193, which is the Dunchurch Park Hotel and Conference Centre. A draft response has been prepared and is currently being looked at by the councillors.
I'll send that round to
Thank you. Next item is to report requests for information and freedom of information requests. So I'm just going to give a summary. It's been a relatively busy month. So on the 19th, since the last DPC meeting on the 11th of April, we've received a number of freedom of information requests. All of these are from one parishioner. So on the 19th of April, we received a request for an internal review of a response to a previous FOI request received on the 3rd of April that had been responded to on the 8th of April. Following that request, following the request of the review, we responded on the 25th of April. A further freedom of information request was received on the 20th of April and was responded to under the Model Publication Scheme by myself on the 21st of April. On the 21st of April, we had 2 further freedom of information requests, and both were responded to under the Model Publication Scheme, one on the 22nd of April, one on the 25th of April. On the 26th of April, we had a further freedom of information request received, which was responded to on the 29th of April. We then received on the same day an internal review request, which is in the process of being carried out. I'm not sure it's been responded to yet, but I'll get Tracy to confirm if she's here. And on the 6th of May this year, 6th of May, we have received an email from the Information Commissioner's Office regarding a complaint received by them relating to a response made to an FOI internal review request on the 11th of April. We are yet to see the detail behind this. Okay, moving on to item number 9, which is to receive a report from Councillor Ian Grogan, Really Queen's Platinum Jubilee.
Yep, it's all going well. Many of you might have seen that the beacon has started to go up on the heath opposite the newsagent, working with FODs and other institutions within Dunchurch. A lot of hard work's gone on. A lot of people working very hard together and very well together. The ceremony is going to be on the 2nd of June. We'll be lighting the beacon at 9:30 in the evening. Everybody here welcome. We're hoping to have a piper and a bugler, and also Tracy, our chair, is going to be saying a few words at the ceremony, and then there will be some hot drinks afterwards. We'll be one of over 1,000 villagers lighting the beacon at night. The second event is on the Friday, which will be a church service for everyone, including all the youth groups. That's on Friday the 3rd. And then on Sunday the 5th will be the Jubilee picnic on Dunchurch Sports Fields from lunchtime onwards. and we're going to have Morris dancers, music, ice cream vans, things for the kids, etc., just to finish off the whole event. So it's coming on well. I've, on the advice of Cllr, who mentioned it last time, and she made a good point, I've contacted the press now, and I've also contacted the national press, and I'm hoping possibly that I've got some interest now from the Daily Mail. So we will see. I can't force them to do it, but fingers crossed, possibly national and certainly local to come along and photograph and feature us.
Okay, moving on to the next item, number 10. This is to discuss the protect of the Lord John statue and engage a registered conservator to clean the monument.
Yeah, you may remember from last month's meeting, I was waiting on a third quote. I'm still waiting on a third quote, and no matter how many times I chase up, I still haven't heard anything. But I'll keep on trying.
I did mention I'm concerned about somebody trying to dress it up for the celebration. I don't think anybody should go on it now. Now we're aware of all the cracks in it. You know, they do fancy dress for various occasions. I think it would be dangerous to allow anybody now to go on it, and it increases the risk of it breaking. But I don't know how we get in touch with them.
Would you like me to take that forward? I think I might know how to do
Yeah,
that.
I do think we should now prevent people climbing on it to dress it up.
Okay.
As nice as it is, there's so many very bad cracks in it.
Can you put that down a minute? I'm happy to.
And they're only going to use a ladder, they're not going to use proper scaffolding.
I think particularly the points we're making about the damage and the hairline fractures
Yes.
at the moment. Let's get the statue repaired and
Yes.
and then look at it again at
But
Christmas
until then,
for the traditional. But in the meantime, let's leave it alone.
yes.
Minute it, and I'm happy to make a phone call.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. The next 4 items, actually we're going to have to defer because the relevant councillors are not here, so just to clarify, so item number 11, which was going to be covered by Councillor John Barlow, which is to discuss the purchase of the new RFID machine, so we will, that was an update, we'll move that to the next meeting. Item number 12, which was going to be covered by Councillor Cara Martin, to discuss the refurbishment of our play area and potential spend, which we'll defer. Items number 13 and 14 we're going to cover by Councillor Tracy Price, which was the update on speeding, dangerous driving and traffic, as well as to approve the support proposal to create a 20-mile-an-hour limit on secondary roads. So all 4 of those will be deferred. Moving on to item 15, to ratify a 5-year contract with Edge IT. So that is the finance package that the Parish Council uses. That's a cost of £362 per year.
Could I have a proposal and a, thank you, Gary, and a seconder? So is that you?
Yep.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on to item 16. This is something we've previously looked at and approved or in concept. I think this is now we now have a much cheaper cost that's come back, which is to approve H-bar markings being placed in Don Cersei Close at a cost of £188. To be clear, this is the H-bar white line markings on people's driveways.
It's a much better quote, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm certainly happy to propose.
Happy to second.
Everybody happy?
Finally, item 17, which is finance. So just to confirm, there are no payments to approve, and bank reconciliation detailing payments made during the month has been provided on the DP website. I'll also confirm that I've checked the bank reconciliation back to the co-op bank statements and the transactions themselves to the Edge finance system. We've not received a statement from Scottish Widows since February. We've not received yet one from Skipton since we opened accounts in December. However, Jill, Clerk, has requested both. That brings us to item 18, case says, which is a private session if any councillor would like to have something in a private session. Jan?
No.
One. You want to cover something in a private session? Okay.
In that case, you need to read out the...
Okay, so under section 1, subsection 2 of the Public Bodies Admission to Meetings Act 1960, and in view of the confidential nature of the business about to be transacted, it was felt advisable in the public interest if members of the public were present during the consideration of such business, there would be disclosure to them of exempt information that the public be temporarily excluded and they are instructed to withdraw. The resolution is required at meetings for items to be discussed in the private session. So can I ask for a proposal for a private session? Okay, I'm happy to second. And before we complete closing, so the date of the next Dunchurch Parish Council Ordinary meeting is the 13th of June 2022. Thank you very much.